Tuesday morning podcast with Casey Orange. It's 8:09 a.m. here in Louisville, Kentucky. I figure I'd start off with some housekeeping stuff before we get into the, my thoughts for the week. Last week we, Alan, Brendan Jenkins, and I recorded a podcast for WrestleMania 34. It is a match-by-match live reaction as the match is happening. We recorded ourselves watching the whole card. I think it might have been one match we did not. We didn't do any of the pre-show stuff. We didn't do the female battle royal or the Andre the Giant battle royal. But what's really neat about this, you can actually sync up the commentary that we did with the matches of the card, kind of like a riff track situation. And it's really good stuff. It's always good having a conversation with Brandon Jenkins, and all three of us, man, we're just the best dudes to watch wrestling with. I know as soon as anyone hears the word wrestling, most people tune out nowadays, but it might seem like Al and I may hate wrestling, but we still love it. We still follow it. Just don't get the wrong impression about that. We love it. So does Brandon, but we all have pretty bitter / direct point of views and beliefs on wrestling nowadays. But it doesn't mean we don't love it. We totally do. But here's the thing about it. All that is probably about close to 2.5 hours, 3 hours worth of podcast there. I don't think I can upload without having the risk of getting that third strike on YouTube. So we'll see how that goes. It exists. It is brilliant. I'm probably going to send the WAV files to Brandon, have him listen to them too, so what he thinks. But they might be up at some point. But ever since I got contacted by the WWE Facebook police, I've been kind of weary about uploading stuff because, I don't know. I mean, it's still in fair use. It's not like we're showing any video of it. You can hear it in the background, but it's just us talking about it. So it's actually kind of like an editorial opinion piece, not a, oh man, here, watch WrestleMania 34 for free on the internet. That's not what we're doing. So I got to get that out of the way. Been trying to get Josh Casey to do the podcast, but he keeps having to go to the nail salon. It's kind of strange. I'm like, hey, Josh, do you really you want to do this podcast tonight? He's like, no, man. I'm getting a pedicure and getting my nails done. The other time that I asked him, he actually asked me if I was free tonight. I was like, yeah, sure. Then when it came down to it, asked him, sent him a text. I was like, hey, Josh, want to do this podcast tonight or what? And he said no. He's getting his hair done. So that little pansy will get on the podcast and talk to me back and forth. I'm just totally joking. Josh Casey's a pretty good dude. I love that guy. But yeah, been trying to get him on the podcast for like a month. But, he's busy. I'm busy. But it's going to be explosive when that happens. I think it'd be probably, I don't know. A lot of people have strong opinions about Josh Casey and his Facebook use. Him and his brother both are not afraid just to launch into stuff and challenge people's beliefs and on Facebook. And I do that a lot too. It might seem as being trolls, but you got to understand, you got to take a step back and look. This is fucking Facebook. Who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, speaking of that, I want to get this clear. I really don't hate all teachers. I don't want to be the hashtag fuck teachers guy. It's just, you can't, I was just awestruck by people thinking, they only have completely positive things to say about teachers and like they're perfect, but nobody's perfect. So that's all I ever tried to do was steer the pot and to have people open up their eyes to maybe, not all teachers are good. Actually, some teachers do more harm than good. And I think that's a very important point of view that needs to be expressed. And this is on my side. I think that needed to be out there, and I didn't mean for it to be as negative as it was, but it happened, and I just want everyone to know I really don't hate teachers that much. It's just sometimes stuff happens. It kind of triggers you. I was triggered like a cuck. No, not really. Actually, to tell you the truth, it's kind of strange. The worst time for me being on my Facebook and my phone was when I was at Walmart when I was home for WrestleMania and hanging out with the family. I ran into three teachers that sexually assaulted students, and that's just at Walmart. So I don't know, not open up that can of worms again because I've kind of exhausted that whole point of view. I just don't want to do it anymore. But if someone wants to come back and try to challenge me or whatever, I don't mind doing it. But I probably won't have as much heart in it as I did before, because seeing that all those posts on Facebook about teachers and seeing literally you can throw a Sam's Choice can at these people away from you as an example of like this is a bad teacher that kind of ruins it for a group. And I'm saying all teachers aren't like that. I'm not saying that. But it's hard to have a positive outlook on them sometimes when you see, the nasty side of it, I guess. Anyways, moving on. Art Bell died. And I've been kind of waiting to talk about this. I still hasn't really sunk in yet. Because Alan and I was listening to Coast to Coast AM since we were little kids. I'm talking about little, because Dad always went to bed listening to AM radio. Listen to WLS, Chicago, and the AM stations that barely come in. It has to be like during the winter time. It's the best time to listen to AM radio because there's not too much interference in the frequencies, and it's easier to tune in on your C Crane radio because, shit, man, we have like 9 of them. We have 9 C Crane radios. But, yeah, Art Bell's a weird dude. But to me, he was the quintessential radio guy. Like some people say Howard Stern's that person. Paul Harvey's 100% that person. Art Bell's that kind of person to me. Because he was like X-Files, a radio show. And sometimes, obviously, it'd be those filler episodes on, say, like a Tuesday night, at midnight, where, it'd be about Bigfoot or whatever. But it was still always interesting. The guy had a voice for radio. Definitely, actually, he had a face for radio, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to think. Oh, yes, the Ghost to Coast that happened every year around Halloween. That shit was terrifying, especially if you're a little younger. And some of those still freak me out. It's Ghost to Coast is where Art Bell would play EVPs over the radio of from these ghost hunters, and the ghost hunters talk about it. And that was some pretty freaky shit. But progressively, as the years went on, Ghost to Coast kind of took a turn for the worse. This came some hokey stuff. Art Bell's always had some weird shit going on, man. I think his son was raped or something by his gym teacher. And something like that. That was weird. That was in the news. I think it was in the early 2000s. Might have been late 90s. Then his wife died mysteriously. Then he married a young Filipino woman, like 19 years his junior. And then he made a comeback on Sirius Radio. And I listened the fuck out of that. This Dark Matter. It was really good. Just because he had that good radio personality feel. And I love that. It predates podcasts and stuff. It's amazing. Art Bell is just a really cool dude, and I still don't know how to process it yet. Because, the next day after that, R. Lee died, which is crazy. Favorite movies from him is obviously Full Metal Jacket, and I fucking love him in The Frighteners. He kicks ass in that movie. I don't know, 2 great personalities just gone. And, they were, I think Art Bell was 72. Arlie, I'd be wrong, was, like 75, something like that. They had full lives. Full, interesting lives. So, hats off to those guys. And, I don't know. Moving right along here. It's back to being fucking cold as shit. Went from 70 degrees down to 35 degrees, and it's 32 degrees now here. It snowed yesterday. What a positive time. I think March is still going on, and winter hasn't stopped. It's going to keep going, and it's going to keep fucking with people's moods, and it does with mine, my sleep schedule at least. Because once it gets warm, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to stay up and do some stuff. I'm going to go outside. Then I wake up, I'm cold, bitter, and pissed off. My fucking knees and ankles and joints hurt because I'm an old piece of shit now. It definitely puts you in the mood. I don't know if this is like a record, but it certainly does feel really off for this to happen. And I think all these people with their green thumbs that already started their gardens and putting those knockout roses and beefsteak tomatoes out are probably like, damn, these motherfuckers are dead now. Unless, so they're the Monsanto genetic freak plants that can survive a nuclear winter. I don't think any of those plants are going to survive. So that's something that's been kind of fucking with me lately. And that also, I just don't like being negative. I'm not a negative person. But also, I understand that life doesn't give a fuck about you, and not everything's going to be happy, hunky-dory all the time. So, I've been dealing with that. I'm not being a hippie or whatever. I just don't like bad vibes. I don't like really pissing people off. But at the same time, if you have a strong conviction and some type of passion, I think it's going to piss people off anyways. This is a decidedly definitive part of life. Is you're going to piss everybody off at some point. It seems like my don't give a fuck volume knob is turned all the way up now. Frustrated. It seems like everyone's on edge a lot. I actually think people in general are just more pissed off than they used to be. I don't know if that comes with age or it just seems like no one wants to hang out with anybody anymore. The only way they do hang out is on Facebook. That's replaced the conversation. That replaced people going fishing together because I love going fishing. I haven't done that in a year. So, I don't know. I blame social media and Data Zuckerberg. But actually, you know what? I can't blame him either. Because we're the ones still fucking using the platform. And I'm sure he's like, what the fuck? People still use this thing? And why? He's like, I'm pretty sure that dude's already made all the money he wanted to make. And he keeps getting more. And he just can't believe it. And, watching him in front of the Senate or the Congress or whatever. Was the Senate? Fuck, I don't know. It was pretty funny. Because he does look like the first, here's the first integration of an AI robot. Because the way he doesn't have eyebrows or something. He does look like skin. It looks like a robot. It's probably going to be revealed later on down the road, when finally AI robots, get rights and the whole world goes to shit. That Mark Zuckerberg was a robot. And he was just there to get us used to the fact that all of our factory jobs are going to be automated by these guys. And all of our computer mainframes are going to be ran by robots as well. That's a fucking far out there theory. But man, seriously, that guy does look off. I don't know if it's MK Ultra or something. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Speaking of government stuff, James Comey fucking himself up. Shooting himself in the foot all the time now. Because he done that very rare thing where he pissed everybody off. He pissed the Democrats off and the Republicans. Because the big quote from him is, I released the stuff, I reopened the email probe against Hillary Clinton because I was for sure that she was going to win. which she didn't. And that's like hedging your bets at Las Vegas. And also, you just kind of screwed yourself and showed your true colors. No wonder Trump fired you. Because, well, who wants a spineless person like that who flip-flops that easy and will backstab anyone at any time? And, Donald Trump's tweets have been pretty good about Comey. Been pretty funny. I would say that too. And coming out with a book whining about getting fired is not a good look either, dude. It's like, I don't know. What was the stuff that was popular in 2016 and 15? People used to say snowflakes. I don't know, cucking. That's what James Comey's doing. And who buys these fucking books? It's got to be just people that are in the Senate or in the government. But I'm pretty sure they probably have their own signed copies, or probably already know how Comey is and just laugh at him now. Head of FBI. The FBI does not look good now. CIA's doesn't look much better. I think that's the point, is to bring the heat in the direction of the NSA. That's just, like I said, this is all conjecture. It's all opinions being thrown out there. Yeah, James Comey can eat a dick. Speaking of eating dicks, I've been eating some pickled pimento loaf sandwiches, man. I used to hate that shit when I was younger. But for some reason, I was at Kroger yesterday, picked up a package. I was like, you know what? I remember you. I'm going to try you again. I tried a cold sandwich first with mayonnaise, and it was okay. White bread, this normal-ass Kroger white bread, nothing fancy. Probably has double cancer in it, but nothing good. It wasn't that good. So this morning I woke up. I was like, okay, I'm going to try this shit again. And I fried it, and I put mustard on the sandwich this time, and that is the best way to go. Because the mustard kind of kicks in the pimento and the pickly taste, and I still don't know what that loaf is, but it's delicious that way. And I stayed up pretty late. I probably went to bed about 4 a.m. Got up at 6. I got up with Sarah this morning. She's having bad stomach problems. But the reason I went to bed so late is because I've been playing Metal Gear Solid PeaceWalker on the PSP. And see, I've never played it before. And my first impressions are it's the Phantom Pain Snake Eater. But here's the thing. Now I'm playing the Phantom Pain. It's like, holy shit. Now thinking about it, the Phantom Pain's just like PeaceWalker, only it's no fun. PeaceWalker is fun to me because it's a portable game, and the chapters are just perfect. They're like bite-sized missions that I can handle. I don't get bored. Sure, you have to go and balloon people out or whatever. Like, that's the whole concept with the Fulton unit thing. But for some reason, this time around, it doesn't bother me. Maybe I'm just amazed by how great this game. It looks like a PS3 game on a PSP. That's what's blowing my mind too. Some gameplay mechanics are a little different. Like you can't crawl on your belly, which that's a staple in Metal Gear Solid games. And also, you can't slide against walls. I think the reason they took that stuff out is the gameplay's different. Where basically the only thing you need to do sometimes is duck. And the only other time you probably need to go on your stomach is you want to get to completely hide or to refill your stamina. But see, those little gameplay switches makes the game faster, and I find myself sneaking quicker instead of waiting for the second rotation of the guards, if that makes any sense. Now I'll run on the first rotation of the guards, and I feel safe about it. What's also wacky, like I said, the controls are kind of crazy because there's no 2 analog sticks. So you have one analog stick to move Snake, and basically the triangle, X, square, circle buttons act as your other analog stick, kind of like how Quake 3 Arena was on the Dreamcast. I don't know if anyone's played that, but the single analog stick FPS controls has been around for a minute, and it works pretty well. You use R to shoot. Well, actually, okay, you hold L to aim your weapon. You can freely scroll and strafe, and R to shoot. You can also use R for your CQC moves. And you hold the left on the D-pad to open up your items and right to open up your weapons. So it works surprisingly well. It's better than most. It's better than Resistance Retribution. I don't know if everyone's heard about that. Resistance Retribution on the PSP is also one of those one analog FPS or third-person shooter kind of games. And the controls just don't work there. But for some reason in PeaceWalker it works. I love the cutscenes. It's comic book style. It's like a graphic novel. And it kind of fucked me up one time because I was talking to Alan while playing it, and they're interactive cutscenes. So sometimes you have to take control of a missile launcher and shoot shit out of the sky mid cutscene. And it's really cool. The stuff also that I didn't like about Phantom Pain is the base building. I don't know if anybody else gives a flying fuck about that, but I don't. But for some reason, when it's on this scale on the PSP, I can handle it because you can automate the whole process. So I love that. You don't have to fool around with all these other micromanaging shit like you're managing a basketball team or something. I just don't care about that. I just like my Metal Gear games to be linear. And this game is linear and almost teetering in that part where you're like, I don't know about this shit. But it stays there, and I like it. Yeah, it's just a really good game. I was thoroughly surprised by it. I don't know why, but because everybody on the internet said it was fucking amazing. But I can finally say that is a game that truly shows the PSP strengths. I think the PeaceWalker does, and I think both of the God of War games show what the PSP can do. Because all three of those games right there, folks, are fucking amazing. They're great. If you're getting into the PSP, I suggest those three. I mean, you're not going to lose. Alan's been getting into the shooters and the Neo Geo collections and stuff on there on the PSP. Awesome. Both Guilty Gear games are awesome. You can 2-player ad hoc a beat 'em up mode. So basically, you got like force mode, Tekken Force mode, only with Guilty Gear, and it's really fun. It's pretty fun. Also, it's probably one part of my degenerative behavior that I still hold on to. I still love playing video games. I don't know. It seems like games I could get into when I was younger, like the harder NES games, I can totally get through now. But other than that, I've been recording a lot of riffs through this Euphoria Bayringer DAW. It's pretty neat. I'm using Kenny, and Kenny's an old ass guitar. I think it might be old Sears and Roebuck's guitar. Everyone who's been to my house or in the past has seen it. We call it Kenny because it's basically a hard tannish chunk of wood with a white beat up pickguard and 2 single coil pickups. They're loud as fuck. But doesn't look like that guitar would sound amazing, but man, the sounds and the tones you can get out of it is fucking nuts. Especially I love the neck pickup on there. I put a new set of strings on it, I think it's like 2 months ago, but it still sounds bright and clear as fuck. So, yeah, along with playing video games, I've been recording riffs, not the greatest of stuff, but they're there. I've been having fun with that. I'm not good at doing finger drums, so I've been using some loops and reprogramming those and learning how to put fills and stuff in it. Just good enough to get demos going. And so I've been doing. I think I've recorded 8 in the past couple weeks. Some of them are just ideas. Some of them are full blown kick ass motherfuckers. But I'm still having problems recording my my Squire 2 precision bass. Basically the same bass that Phil Lynott has in Thin Lizzy, because recording bass is the hardest thing in production. If you've been producing music for a long time, you know it is. I found the best way for the longest time was to use mic and amp. I've done that for a pretty good while. Then when I was using the Yamaha for that and my Hofner violin bass, which I'm not too big a fan of. I really don't play my violin bass too much anymore because electronics in it are just weak. I got the entry level one, but I just wanted a fucking Paul McCartney bass, so I fucking had to have it. But since electronics are really good with my P bass, I've had pretty good success recording straight through and with a preamp situation going on, and that's been working out for me lately. It's really hard to record in an apartment. Hard to sing in an apartment. All thing I did pretty much was acoustic stuff. Then I was like, fuck, it'd be awesome if I had a distortion. So that's what led to me going back to playing straight through. That way it doesn't bother people too much, because these walls are thin, like really fucking thin. Had actually trouble sleeping last night because I guess someone might have been playing League of Legends next door and we're getting loud as fuck. I turn into that adult, be like, hey, keep it down, you. Yeah, asshole. That's what I felt like. But didn't do that. So Alan's also been getting back more into guitar. He's always been into guitar, but man, diving into the the digital electronic music is so fucking fun. And Alan's been doing a lot of synth work. It's been pretty kick-ass. And you combine that with badass guitar, man, it's nuts. Because, can't forget how awesome Alan is at the guitar. He's a virtuoso, I can't say it. He's really good at guitar. And also you can't forget that, even though Alan and I are getting older, we're still motherfucking rockers, dude. Seems like a lot of people came, like Revolving Door, a lot of people came and went in our band throughout the years, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. I know Kevin Willoughby can for sure. It fucking frustrates you and pisses you off, but for some reason you still keep on going and you keep on trucking and you keep recording. And that's what Alan and I try to do. We haven't been in the most upbeat of moods, or hitting that Great Depression that people hit at that age. Friends disappearing, not because you done something wrong or you did something wrong, but you spend a lot of time blaming yourself, like in your mind in these imaginary fights, like what did I do to turn these people away? And that's, you didn't. I came to that conclusion. I don't think I did. I think this is what life does, and I would like to change that. I like to hang out with people. I like seeing people. Like being in Louisville here, I have nobody. I have no friends. I have one. But he's busy. Actually, he's have foot surgery and stuff. But that's a work friend. So I don't know. Sometimes hits you hard, and it seems like you got to sometimes accept the evil that is social media, just so you can have some type of interaction with these people. That's why I keep my Facebook around. That and to share memes and to share the podcast that I do until I jump onto that new social platform, like wish BitChute would become a thing. Al and I definitely think about jumping onto Daily Motion to post our videos, because they're a little more lax on the terms of use and whatnot, and it's not Skynet, Google on your ass all the time. Well, anyways, I guess I'm hitting the 30-minute mark. I just hope everyone has a good day, and just remember to stick to your guns and believe in yourself, and don't be afraid to say that thing, because the most important people throughout history, or just people that have been people that stood for something that was right, and everyone else in the room didn't believe them. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to stand up and say, you know what, that's fucking wrong. I don't believe that. When 99 out of the 100 people in that room believe something differently, even it's morally indifferent to you, but always stand up for what you believe in, because sometimes it's all you can do, because the only thing you're going to do is lay down soon and fucking become dust anyways. So, all right, guys, you have a good one.